Hello, friends, and welcome to the weekly moon update. My name is Allison, the self-proclaimed Priestess of Wonderland, and in these videos we talk about the moon energy for the current week, as well as a little bit of astrology. In this video's case, we're talking about the moon energy for May 26th through June 1st. So we're closing out May and starting off June already. And we also get some oracle messages for the collective for this week. So we have a new moon in Gemini this week, and last week we really felt this shift into Gemini season with the sun moving into Gemini last week. And now with this week, we are starting off the Gemini moon cycle with our Gemini new moon. I find that we have really felt that shift from really heavy, dense, earthy energy into a more lighter, airy Gemini energy. And I hope that you're feeling like a little bit playful during this new moon, and I hope that if the Scorpio full moon taught you anything, I think it's to allow yourself to be in that darkness and process your emotions, feel your emotions, but then remember to come out of it. And I really think that this Gemini sun season and Gemini moon cycle is really going to help us come out of that heaviness and feel a lot more lighter, a lot more playful, and to have some fun in the sun. Let's jump into the moon energy for this week. The new moon is technically happening at 11:02 p.m. Monday evening. So I think we're kind of going to be feeling that new moon energy both Monday and Tuesday, probably a little bit of Sunday and Wednesday as well. So that means that we are starting off Monday with our waning crescent moon. We'll have our new moon Monday and Tuesday, and then the rest of the week will be a waxing crescent moon. So you'll see this little sliver of light start to slowly increase, and then we'll have our first quarter next week. So really low energy starting off the week with a new moon is a very slow start. So maybe continuing that kind of Taurus slow moving energy this week. But it still has that like lighter kind of feel to it. So technically Monday we're starting off with Taurus energy and, saying goodbye to that Taurus moon cycle. But then it'll start to transition around 10 o'clock a.m. and then we'll officially move into Gemini at 1:22 p.m. on Monday. So we're only going to be in the Gemini energy for a little bit before it's like half a day, but like we'll be in that Gemini energy for about 12 hours. But usually we're kind of like hanging out in the zodiac sign for a while before it's either new or full. But this is kind of a shorter amount of time. So we'll actually be kind of hanging out in Gemini energy for the rest of Tuesday, and then it will start to transition into Cancer Wednesday afternoon as well. So we've talked a lot about Taurus energy already this month, and it is that earth sign, that slow and steady steps, the getting grounded and stable, and tree energy. And so we've talked a lot about that already. And I really feel like I love Taurus energy. I love the beauty of it. I love the comfortableness of it. I love the like safety of it. But eventually it's like, okay, we got to get moving. We got to like I can't stay in one place for like too long. I just eventually have to start moving. So I love Taurus energy, but I'm usually ready to move out of it by the time that we do. And it's you know that like whenever you're being like really lazy and crashing out on the couch and like you've been sitting there like all day and you're like you got this urgency, you're like I got it, I feel like I need to like get up and do something. Like so you get up and like start cleaning or something. It's that like, oh okay, I've been sitting here too long, let's get up and start doing something. So that's kind of how I feel with Taurus energy. So we're starting off we're starting off Monday kind of with Taurus, but I think we're really going to start feeling that Gemini energy for most of Monday. And so Gemini again is moving us from earth to air. So it's bringing our energy up into our minds, and but also with the cards that we have this week, it's also, you know, like crown chakra energy. It's like Gemini is the twins, and so it represents duality, but it's I very much have found that Gemini energy helps us connect to our higher self in the sense that like you're in your human body being a human, but then it's also I feel like it's also your connection to spirit. Like yes, you are your human body, but you are also your soul, and you're both of those things at the same time. So I really find that Gemini does help us connect to spiritual energy, and I think it helps us put words to it because remember, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication. So I think it helps us put words to things. And like when the moon is in Gemini, especially for a new moon, a Gemini new moon, you want to use your words. Words are spells. Say, proclaim what it is that you are setting your intentions around. Proclaim what it is that you want to the universe, whether you're saying that out loud or writing it down in your planner or writing it down in your journal, talking to somebody about it. Like this is express who you are, express what you want, express what you need. Use your words is Gemini energy. So really make sure that you're writing down your intentions in your planner, writing down the things that you want. Like this is like we really need to be using our words for the Gemini new moon. So we'll be here part of Monday, all day Tuesday, and the beginning, well, only basically the Wednesday morning. So we'll move into Cancer at 1:33 p.m. Wednesday, and we will be in Cancer energy all day. These transitions feel kind of short to me, like, or the amount of time that we're in the zodiac sign feels a little bit short to me this week. We're in Cancer energy all day Wednesday and all day Thursday, but then Friday afternoon, we're transitioning into Leo. So the middle of the week also has very slow energy with this, like with a crescent Cancer moon. The moon is still really dark, so that you might be kind of hanging out in this slow, not a lot of energy time period because, like, yes, the moon is dark here, but there's really not that much light here, and Cancer really encourages us to take care of ourselves, to do the things that we need to nurture and mother ourselves. Sometimes that's a good talking to, and sometimes that's like, you know, if you have been being lazy on the couch all day, that's when mom comes in and is like, okay, get off your butt and go clean your room or something. So it could have that kind of energy where you're finally like, oh, I got to get up and do something. But I don't know, this week has like very, very low energy. We really might not be feeling that much energy until Friday when the moon moves into Leo at 4:17 p.m. because that's fire and that's sun energy, and that's like, hey, let's get up and do something. Like, come on, move your butt. But then it feels like we're back. I mean, then it feels like we're back to the 2.5 days in each sign, because for Leo, we'll be in here Friday late afternoon and evening, all day Saturday, and most of Sunday as well, because we won't move into Virgo until 11 p.m. on Sunday. But the good news with that is that finally we are starting off a week with an earth sign. We have been either starting off the week with a new moon, starting off the week with a full moon, or starting off the week with a water sign. And those are just not my favorite ways to start the week. So finally we have Virgo coming in next Monday to help us get organized and start start moving, start getting the things done that we need to get done. So I don't know, the energy of this week feels kind of like being lazy on the couch and then finally getting that kick in the pants to like get up and do something. That might even be what I decide to title this video, like get off the couch, get off your butt. I don't know. Very low energy, but it's a lot more lighter and playful. Like if you want to veg out on the couch all day, fine. Like Gemini will allow you to do that because it's, it wants to be fun and have a good time. But you have to you have to do both. You can be lazy, but then you got to be productive. So it helps us to like do both. Yes, you can play and have fun, but you also have to work. You can work hard and you can play hard. So our card today is coming from Kyle Gray's Divine Masters Oracle deck, and we have Rumi, or Rami. I don't know how to pronounce it, but when I first picked this card, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so perfect for a Gemini new moon because Rumi was a poet. So we're talking again about words and using our words. Maybe that's going to be the title of the video. I don't know. Okay, so Rumi says mystical knowing, breaking boundaries, personal experience of God. So Rumi was a 13th century Persian mystic poet. His words, poems, and songs have been highly influential the world over, transcending national borders and ethnic divisions and describing the direct experience of God. Rumi is now acknowledged as the world's most popular poet. I believe that. Like if you've ever seen an affirmation, it was probably written by him. like an affirmation on social media, it's probably written by him. What's most magical about this great man is his ability to shed light on moments that can be deeply painful. In these moments, his words and poems can bring real solace. One of his most loved phrases is, "The wound is where the light enters." That just gave me chills. For it shows that even in our darkest, most wounded moments, God will be there to lead us back to wholeness. So the message of this card is it's time to move beyond any limitations of the earthly realm that have been placed or forced upon you. It's time to break free of the constraints of family, politics, religion, and anything else that has been telling you who you are or how you need to be. Your connection to the divine must come from personal experience. Trust what you believe and trust what you know, for this is the only way to move forward. This isn't saying that you should disrespect or throw away what may be in place around you, but see if there's a way for you to authentically express who you are without causing offense. Rumi's light is with you to help you move beyond the limitations of society or family traditions. Simply remain centered in your heart and let your personal experience of the divine lead the way. It isn't inauthentic to speak to others in their language or through their wording in order to get your point across. What's important is that you feel within and the deep knowing that no matter who you are or where you are loved by the power that created you. This is a really interesting card to come up. I mean, I really do think it's perfect for a Gemini moon and using your words, like I was saying earlier, but I know I said this last week, like the energy of the Scorpio moon was like super intense. And now that like I'm out of that and like reflecting back on it, I'm recognizing that like a lot of the turmoil that was coming from the emotions or shadows that I was processing around the full moon, a lot of the turmoil that came from that was mostly like, you don't have time to like be sitting here crying, or like, you don't have time to work through this. Like it was like the pressures of society of like, you have to go to work, especially as a massage therapist. When I'm feeling low or depressed, it's kind of difficult to do my job because I mean, I want to be a person who is holding space for somebody else to grow and heal. I don't want to bring my negativity like into that space. So I really try to separate myself when I am working, and then I feel like I don't have time to process the things that I need to process. And so like a lot of that turmoil wasn't like necessarily what I was processing, it was the fact that I felt like I wasn't allowed to be sad, or there were other things I needed to do instead of being sad. So I was like frustrated with myself, like, you need to snap out of this, you need to get out of bed, you need to stop crying, you need to like, and that in and of itself, I think probably prolonged what could have been something where I could have processed it on the full moon, given it to the moon, like let it go, instead of like holding on to it and like waiting for the right time, or waiting for the permission, or waiting for the like waiting for it to go away, waiting for it to disappear, ignoring it, stuffing it down, like whatever. The majority of the turmoil was coming from the pressures I was putting on myself of feeling like all of those things, just like, and instead, if I had just like actually sat with it, been present with myself, rather than trying to escape it, or rather than shaming it or labeling it as this bad thing that like, why can't you be better? Why can't you just get over it? Why can't you like, all of those negative things? It probably wouldn't have been a week-long depression spiral. It could have been like a day, a couple hours, you know? So I also really love the quote here, "The wound is where the light enters," because that resonates so deeply. It just feels so true. And also just this phrase here, "It's time to break free from the constraints of family, politics, religion, and anything else that has been telling you who you are, or who you have to be, and who you need to be." One of the other things that I've been kind of processing, getting ready for Team Weird takeover, and being around new people, but like people that I know on a very intimate level, and having those worries and anxieties of like, well, I'm too weird. Like all of the like I think of all of the things that I need to like pack to take with me, and I'm just like, oh my, like all of my rituals and my daily routines, and like the things that I do to like comfort myself and to cope, like all of my coping mechanisms. I'm like, these are so weird. People are going to be like, what the fuck's wrong with her? And so I've been worried about all of that, but a really big lesson that came out of the Scorpio full moon for me was just like, this is who you are. Like it takes so much energy to pretend to be something that you're not, pretending to be okay when you're not. And I'm really trying to surrender to just like, I get really depressed and I get really anxious and I'm not okay in those moments, but fighting that again is creates more of a problem. It makes it worse. Like rather than allowing myself to just be anxious and then to do the coping mechanisms that I have in place, instead of adding to that anxiety or adding to that depression by being like, why are you like this? Why can't you be better? And at the same time, I'm like, haven't I done this already? Haven't I, like, I have been to therapy for this, and like, why is it coming back up? Why is it like, haven't we worked through this already? Maybe this is my Chiron placement. I don't know. So anyways, it's just, this card gives you this sense of relief of that duality and that dualistic nature of who we are. Like, I am that depressed, anxious person. Like I am. I am that. I have to embrace that. But I am also the person that you see here on YouTube and who's happy and really excited about astrology and the moon. And I am also that person. Like sometimes I watch my YouTube videos and I'm like, who is that? Like I'm just like blown away. Like I like the person that I see on YouTube, and I often forget that like I am that person. Like that is true to who I am, as well as the depressed and dark and anxious version of myself. So this is what Gemini teaches us. Like I'm both of those things. I need to love both of those things, and I'm everything in between those things as well. And you are too. So love yourself anyways, and look up some Rumi poetry, because I think it's going to be a good idea to like have always during Gemini season and Gemini moon cycle, it's always good to have an affirmation that you're repeating to yourself over and over again. It's so beneficial. And I know I know we have a lot of Gemini community members too, and like this is good for you all the time, but it's good for everybody during this moon cycle and this. So get like a little post-it note and stick it on your bathroom mirror, stick it on the back of your phone, have it as your phone wallpaper, and say these nice things to yourself because like I said, I feel like I've worked through so much anxiety and depressive issues on my own and with a professional. And I'm like, why are these things still coming up? It's because those negative thoughts get worm into your regular thought process and you have to continually combat them. So coming up with new affirmations that suit your life better than they did back when I was in therapy is important for me right now. So I need to come up with new affirmations that will help me combat those issues as well. So that is exactly what the exercise for the Gemini new moon in your Just a Phase moon planner is. This was actually stolen, like a therapist literally gave me this worksheet and I have just like kind of changed it and tweaked it over the years to fit my own personal needs. But these are literally from from like what my therapist gave me. And you're identifying your negative thoughts. You can identify like what type of thinking trap that is. You don't actually have to do that part, but basically what you're doing is you're taking the negative thought that runs through your mind. For example, like mine was like, why are you like this? And turning it into an affirmation that is positive. So you're taking something negative and flipping it into being positive. There's all different thinking trap labels to help you identify like what kind of thought that is. And then there's challenging questions for, do I know for certain that this is going to happen? Or if you do know for certain that's going to happen, what percentage of it? Because when you start looking at, oh, well, there's only 50% of this being true, then what's the other 50%, and focusing on the other 50%. One of the ones that I use a lot is what is the worst that could happen? Because I tend to catastrophize things and imagining, like for me, it's helpful to imagine the worst case scenario and then imagine a solution to it. So then I can walk into a situation and know like that I can handle it. Like if the worst case scenario happens, like I already have a solution to this problem. And so I feel more confident going into it because I'm like, it's probably not likely going to happen, but if it does, like I am mentally and physically capable of handling it. The only thing that you have to worry with that one is be careful about like focusing too much on the worst case scenario, because if you keep thinking that, playing that scenario over in your head, it is kind of more likely to happen. You know, that's like the law of attraction thing. So that's something that like they're not going to teach you in therapy about the law of attraction. But I throughout the years I have kind of worked my way through that scenario with a more spiritual perspective on it, I guess. So anyways, you're taking a negative thought and turning it into a positive affirmation. And then I recommend you slap it on a Post-it, stick it on your bathroom mirror, on your phone wallpaper, whatever. Words are so important during Gemini season and Gemini time. Okay, so our chakra card for this week is actually the same one that we had last week. So we've got solar power, look to the sun, allow its glorious light to radiate from your entire body. Let this warmth rise from the core of you, propelling you and empowering you with every step you take. When you attune to the wisdom of the sun, you will understand that whatever you seek and long for can be yours. All that you seek awaits you, says the sun. So again, this is solar plexus. The crystal they recommend is pyrite and the herb is anise. So I'm guessing that this is coming up because this is the sun season. We're entering June this week. And so the summer solstice is the 21st, I think, of June. So like this is the sun season. This is when we're celebrating the sun. This is when we're celebrating the light. It's why as we're entering Gemini season, it's time to have fun and to play, to have fun in the sun. This is really honoring this time of year because like the Scorpio full moon showed us, it's not always going to be light. It's not always going to be sunny. Sometimes it's going to be dark and sometimes it's going to be cloudy and sometimes it's going to be rainy. But we need to remember to still celebrate the light, even in those dark moments. I've been really feeling the need to work with pyrite. Pyrite keeps coming up a lot lately, and so does our gemstone for the week. Oh, interesting. We had a sunstone, and then we have a moonstone, selenite. Selenite is a crown chakra stone of peace, pure white light, moon magic, and divine feminine power. This gypsum gem is a sweet and potent crystal that purifies and clears spaces and raises the vibration. Selenite promotes clarity, joy, beauty, and higher realm connection. The affirmation is, I am a being of light and my natural state is pure peace. This would be a good affirmation to be using for the rest of this moon cycle. If you are having trouble coming up with your own, if you didn't do that exercise for the changing your negative thoughts to a positive affirmation, then use the ones that are given to you. Or like I said earlier, look up a Rumi quote and use that as your positive affirmation. So another big thing that has been popping up for selenite with me, because I always have, I do not go anywhere without selenite on me. Always, like I have, how many pieces do I have right here? I have like 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pieces. Oh, and a selenite plate. 6 pieces. And a selenite plate. I love selenite. Obviously, I love the moon, but something was really jumping out at me. I think I came across this in a TikTok video of remembering that selenite not only like clears and brings joy and has this really high vibration, it is also good for moving energy. And if you remember last week, we were talking about Saturn moving into Aries and the need to physically move to activate that to clear boundaries, to clear energy, to like, how are we going to cleanse our aura if we're not using water anymore because Saturn has moved from water to fire? And so it's getting yourself some selenite wand, and selenite can move energy. Selenite is like, it's not just clearing it, it is like pushing it out. So getting a selenite wand and waving it through your energetic field, I think might be something good to try for the next couple of years while Saturn is in Aries. And I'm like, thank God I have like I have like a million of these things. Get yourself some selenite if you haven't already. Okay, so that is the moon energy for this Gemini new moon week. I hope that you're able to have fun and be playful this week, but to also really connect to your spirit and your soul. Do something that lights you up. Do something that makes you feel childlike and playful. Something that makes your soul want to dance. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for inspiring me to continue filming these videos. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Rumi quote is. I appreciate you so much, and I cannot wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. So, what was I talking about? Get yourself, maybe I'll put some